Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar mini-series Families for the Future. Today we have the second of our 3 short films available for you to watch this week. Just a reminder before we get started that there will be an opportunity to discuss the issues raised in the films in our live video forum at 10 a.m. on Friday the 19th of June. Today's film focuses on the theme Finding Our Voice as Parents.
I'm Heidi, this is my daughter Bella, she's 18 months.
Hello, my name's Caroline Hickman.
I'm Jo McAndrews.
My name is Marta and I'm a mum.
Hi, I'm James. I've got a young toddler who's 3.
My name's Maya and I'm an organiser with a group called Mothers Rise Up.
I'm a member of a group called Parents for the Future, and that was formed on the back of the youth climate strikes in support of those brave young people fighting for a climate-safe future.
I'm a lecturer at the University of Bath. I teach social work and I also teach on climate change. I'm a psychotherapist and I also work with a group called the Climate Psychology Alliance, and we're developing outreach to support people dealing with eco-anxiety.
I trained as a psychotherapist many years ago and now specifically working around how do we support children in the face of climate crisis, and working with Caroline in the Climate Psychology Alliance to have offer some useful support to parents and to schools in thinking about how they adapt to supporting children more facing this crisis.
I think the biggest issue that we struggle with as campaigning parents is lack of time. We have a lot of roles to fulfill. Apart from parents, we're also employees or employers. We have friends who we care about. We have our communities, and we are children as well. We have parents who we need to take care of. So adding another role of a climate activist is a very challenging task.
As a nature lover, I try and do what I can to make choices that lessen my impact on the planet. Although I'd like to be more proactive in campaigning and growing awareness of the issues, it's a challenge to find the time whilst working and looking after Bella.
A lot of activism groups are sort of in evening time, and that's straight away quite difficult.
Because I was finding it really difficult to work out what my role could be as someone who cared a lot about climate change, but maybe couldn't fit my life in with some of the other work that I saw being done. I didn't really consider myself an activist because of the associations with that word.
Trying to fit in activism with work, with kids, when we're sleep deprived, and I think that's probably one of our biggest challenges, is maintaining energy and maintaining consistency when we're really tired.
Parents who are in the climate movement do face extreme and negative emotions of anger or outrage, of exhaust, depression, anxiety, and having someone who is in a very similar situation or knows where we're coming from is extremely important. Climate change is a really complex issue, and you cannot fight this issue by yourself. You need some help. And we advise parents who want to take action on climate change to either form a group of like-minded parents, or to become part of an existing group.
We're not built to do this by ourselves. Crucial, we need each other. There's a lot of focus on self-improvement and doing our own work, but actually that work happens best when we are cared for and attuned to by others. That's why it's so important that we join communities and groups who are all concerned about the same thing.
Parent groups are amazing because they give that space where you have permission to learn, permission to grow, permission to struggle, permission to sometimes get it wrong. But you can also celebrate your successes. You can celebrate what's going well.
Working in a group makes things happen. Basically, groups are, in a group you can have people who have various skills, who have connections, who have experiences, and obviously you can also share responsibilities and share jobs, so that you don't feel too occupied by your activist activity.
We came together because we were so inspired by the youth strikes, as well as some of the Extinction Rebellion protests. But we felt that mums, parents, but mums in particular, needed to lift their voices, and we wanted to create a safe space for parents to be active and, to take to the streets, to take to social media and to raise their voice.
I've been to the big climate change marches in Sheffield City Centre, and they were positive. I think that's a good experience if you sort of see other people who are in a similar situation to yourself. It's sort of a good feeling. It's nice to think that you can go to something or find a way of actually addressing specific issues, or meeting people in a deeper way about sort of events that go alongside other family events that are already happening, or things that are taking place in a setting where it's good for children to be at, is good, or things that take place in a time of day where your child might be being taken care of anyway at nursery or school.
You don't need to be out on the streets if that doesn't feel right for you. Everyone has a voice, and there's so many different ways to get involved. You can write to your MP, you can write to your local councillor, and just really simply you can talk to other parents, on your class WhatsApp group, at the school gates. Obviously that's a bit difficult now with lockdown, but generally talking to other parents, making them aware of the climate crisis, and safeguard a future for our kids. I mean, what could be more important than that?
I think also, working in a group makes you feel much more hopeful, because you can see that there are other people who are thinking as you do, and who want to make a change happen. So that gives you hope, and that gives you motivation to move on with your fight.
And also what keeps me determined is just knowing how many people, how many parents are joining this struggle, working really closely with Parents for Future and other networks. And I think that's really, really important, is to reach out across different groups and movements. I'm part of a global network called Our Kids Climate that's bringing together parent groups from around the world. Just this morning I was speaking with a climate mum, a parent organizer in India, who's been dealing with the effects of lockdown, a massive cyclone, and it's also looking at how to improve air quality in Kolkata. And knowing that this effort is global is something that keeps me determined, and knowing that there are parents out there who are in really tough circumstances but are still finding ways to organize is what gives me a lot of inspiration.
In Climate Psychology Alliance, we talk about radical hope rather than naive hope, or false hope. And I think it's a big mistake to invest hope in something completely outside of ourselves. Somebody, something out there will rescue us, whether it's technology or whether it's planting billions of trees. To invest in that hope entirely externally is problematic. For radical hope needs to come from internal. It needs to be relational as well as external. We need to take action in the world, but we also need to face the truth and face reality of what we're dealing with. And that means that we have to face what we've already destroyed and what we've lost. Because if we went to zero carbon emissions tomorrow, it's already too late for the children of the Maldives. It's too late for the children of Vanuatu and the Marshall Islands and Bangladesh. And it's too late to save everybody and everything. But if we face some of that reality, paradoxically, it doesn't mean we have to collapse into despair. It could give us passion, and it could give us compassion to have a global solution here. So for me, that's what some of that radical hope is about. which is face that reality, feel the pain, the rage and the despair, and stand up and find things we can still do. So for me, it's about investing hope in the future of children globally, not just locally.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.